Hey everyone, Dan here. We are doing the trading day on Tuesday, August 3rd. Today we're going to launch this $100 Webull account challenge, if we want to call it a challenge, or just an ongoing series of what I'm going to try to do with $100 in my Webull account. And today is day one, or episode one of the series. Now, what I'm trying to do with this is basically take $100 and grow it as sort of quickly but also safely as possible, if that makes sense. So I'm looking for relatively quick growth, but I'm looking to make reasonably smart decisions along the way. Or I guess maybe a better way to put it is take calculated risks along the way and kind of record that and share how I would think about these things in an account that's starting off with just $100. So I just deposited the money this morning, so I'm hoping that it's going to go through. I think that it provided me with instant buying power, but we'll see. And I just want to mention a couple of things before we get into it. If you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps a lot. And also keep in mind that these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are strategies that I'm going to deploy in real time and record them for you. But please know that these are not investment or trading advice or recommendations in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put in the work for yourself, come up with a system that you find repeatedly works for you, and base your trades on that information. All right, so I'm tracking this XELA right now. So a couple of tricky things with this first $100 that I have. I'm looking at splitting it up into about half or a third, meaning I want to deploy $30 to $50 on 2 or 3 different trades so that everything is not in one basket. And also I want to have a mix of shares and options, just sort of for the safety of shares are less likely to go to zero and options can certainly go to zero, but options can obviously kick up your account pretty significantly pretty quickly. So the shares traded that I'm looking at is this XELA, and these are going to be a little bit more quick trades. Now, obviously with $100 in the account, I'm subject to PDT, so I can't do more than 3 day trades over the course of 3 trading days. So I'm going to have to keep that in mind as well and try not to day trade as much as possible. And also, just from my own sort of perspective, I don't really love to day trade. I think it's a great way to make money, but given my busy schedule and all the other things I have going on, I don't really have the time to sit and watch the tick by tick like we're doing right now. Like I can't do that all day. And I'm not going to put enough money into one trade probably that I'm just going to scalp, situations like this and just make small percentages that yield pretty high dollar amounts because I've invested a ton of money in it. Again, I have a young family, a lot of expenses, a lot of things that we're saving for, and so I'm trying to be relatively safe with the things that we're doing. But with $100, we can get a little bit more creative. Now, XELA I'm looking at today because obviously it's having a pretty solid run, but XELA, even though it's up, 9-10%, it let me find my spot here. It is very heavily shorted. So here in Ortex, you can see that they have a utilization rate of nearly 78%. So that means almost 78% of all the shares available to borrow have been lent. And then free float on loan is almost 40%, which is ridiculously high. So that is what's leading me to look at this as sort of having the potential for a short squeeze here. And that's why I was checking out the volume today. Pretty high for it being, it's just after noon on the East Coast time. And so we're most likely going to surpass this average 3-month volume. Now I'm looking at the tick by tick here because I'm looking for this as a potential day trade to kick things off, but also to see if there is, if I feel risky about holding it overnight, I could certainly do that. Now, the other thing that I'm looking for, I guess I can finish this off. So what I'm looking for now is for this to recover and show some signs of strength. So obviously, it started off pretty strong here, makes 3 higher highs, and then comes down and can't hold the low here, and falls down. But you do see it does fight and hold all of the MAs along the way. The 20 gave a good fight, the 50 gave a good fight, and then the 200 gave a good fight. So to me, that's something to trade off of. Now, right now we see it building off of the 50 and 200 coming in really close to each other. So this dip here might be the dip that happens, but that's kind of what I'm waiting to see play out. And this is where these videos, feel free to like 2x them or something, because they might get a little bit lengthy if we're kind of watching the tick by tick here and I'm waiting for an entry point. Now, there is also the potential that this channel is forming. It's quite a bit TBD because it's really only tested the top really once, in my opinion, and then this would be the second confirmation of the bottom. This would be the first confirmation of the bottom, second time that it's held the bottom. And so we'll see if that really holds up or not. Now, if we get a break from this in a second, I'll go over and look at the swing trade position, the one that I would not day trade, which would be an options position, and I'm still looking for a good opportunity there. So I figured maybe there was benefit or utility in me kind of unpacking the way that I would try to track down these trades as well, sort of the research aspect of it for folks that are looking for trade opportunities. Looking for some supply and demand zones here and to see where they line up, just as sort of additional fodder in my cannon. So basically the things that I'm looking at right now, so it's blowing below this channel. We'll see if it quickly recovers or not, because it's also hitting the 200. But the things I'm looking at right now are obviously the channel, the 200 MA. I'm looking to see if this bearish momentum can die down right now. And even if it does, that said, that hasn't been a huge indicator. We've seen the bearish momentum die down several times over here, and it didn't really provide any major boost up. The RSI, I'd love to see what it does when it hits the midline. That's mostly how I like to play the RSI. You see here it hit the midline and then rejected off, and but it did make some higher lows there. So we'll see if that can maintain. Basically what I'm looking for is this bearish momentum to die down, RSI to establish over the 50, and then for this to gain some price strength, ideally in the channel, but at least get some price strength over these SMAs so that it might have the opportunity to carry. You see it's really only carried, meaning carried the price strength up when it's established over the 20. When it's holding to that 50, it doesn't really do much. And here it established over the 20 again, and then it carried it up. I mean, that wasn't nearly as big of a bump, but that at least went from $3.06 to $3.14. So it's not nothing for a stock that's so low priced. But yeah, obviously the hope here is that if I can effectuate a good entry point here, then I'm relying on the pretty chancy prospect that a short squeeze could ensue and that a bunch of shorts could start closing their positions and that it could really kick this up. Now, the other thing that I looked at in order to kind of gauge that was Ortex's estimated change in short interest today. So they have it down just 1.66%, which again, if the free float on loan is something like 40% or close to 40, and it just has come down 1% today, that's kind of nothing. And so there's still a bunch of folks to be potentially squeezed on this one. So let's see what's going to happen here. And if we're still kind of waiting after another minute, then I will go ahead and start looking for my options trade that I would like to roll out and put into play. That's going to take a little bit more work, but again, hoping that this is valuable in the sense of giving folks an opportunity to see how to search for some of these things as well. All right, so while this is kind of chilling at the moment, let's come back to it and see if we can get a good entry. In the meantime, a couple of things that I like to check. This is going to seem silly, but swaggy stocks, I like to see where the sentiment is that's coming through from Wall Street Bets, just because they have shown time and time again to have the potential to really move tickers and move the market, or at least have their finger on the trigger, if you will, or have their finger on the pulse of what's going to move. And so, and obviously those are big options traders. That's primarily what's touted over there. So looking for options opportunities. Now, hood to me is way too overextended. I'm not going to jump in at this point. Um, I guess the MACD is flattened out here, but this is also on the 1 minute. I mean, if I'm going to take a swing trade, so I'm looking at the 1 minute on XELA. I should mention this as well because I'm looking at this of maybe an overnight hold, but good chance that I would just close it out during the day today. We're getting a nice green candle here. If I'm going to take a swing on an option, I'm going to look to hold it for probably 2 or 3 days at least, maybe something like a week. And so if I'm doing something like that, I'm going to be looking more at like the 4-hour chart. Look at the 4-hour chart on hood. I mean, obviously it's super ugly because it so recently IPO'd, but look at how heavily extended it is on the MACD. I mean, this looks like a MACD peak, right? And also well into overbought on the RSI, which like doesn't necessarily mean that much. And the MAs aren't going to help us really on this one because it's so new. But to me, this is just, it needs to establish some sort of price pattern. I need to be able to track something, and I can't really with something being so new. And if it had come down and was sort of like establishing a floor, then maybe that would be a different story. Also, I'm just not generally a huge fan, so that's the other thing that I should mention. But let's see what's happening here with our green. Okay, so that kind of died down, but it is trying. You see, it did hold that 200 quite well, and it is trying to get back into this channel. Now, we'll see if we can get this bullish crossover here, meaning this yellow line crosses above the blue line. That would be a bullish crossover, which, if you see it back here, that would have caught you $3.01, and you could have rode that up, I don't know, to 314 or so. But a good battle going on here. You see it's now rejecting off of this midline on the RSI, which I don't love. If it can quickly recover back here, that would be good. Otherwise, it's going to look to me like it's coming back down and maybe would contraindicate this potential bullish crossover. But you see it's not closing in the space anymore on the MACD, so we'll see. Now, CRSR, they just had bad earnings, and they got beat down pretty bad. Now the question is, what does the recovery prospect look like? On this one, I could maybe look at the 5 days is not going to be that helpful because of the earnings. So I'm mostly just looking at the indicators here when I'm going through these time frames to see. I mean, this is still a lot of bearish momentum coming through on the MACD. Yeah, still a lot of bearish momentum here. Now, okay, on the hour, I see maybe some turnaround. On the 30 minutes, we could be getting a bullish crossover. Now, in the 30-minute, I could see certainly holding something overnight, maybe even 2 days. I could trade off of the 30-minute time frame. But let's kind of see what happens here. The idea that it would come back up to all this consolidation area, though, seems quite questionable to me. Also, we should see what the options are on this. So we could go August 20th, which gives us plenty of time if we're just holding it for a couple of days. Call option right now. So, okay. So these are all in the money. So the one that wouldn't be too expensive for my blood with my $100 would be this 32.5, which is okay, but yeah, but that's going to be kind of a tough one. Okay. I mean, my break even would be almost $33. So, all right. Oh, I don't want this trade to be on there. I don't know exactly how to get this off. Let's see. This is where everyone is tuning out. No, don't tune out. Just go and do what? To exit or whatever. 2x the speed and wait till you see something happen. Holy cow. All right. I don't know. We'll have to figure that out. Let's see what Excel is doing here. 1 minute. Okay, so we've lost the 200. So now I'm kind of questioning we might have to let this one go by the wayside once we get a quick recovery here, because we did see it drop below the 200 over here, and actually it had quite a bit of distance between, but then it had a really strong recovery to regain sort of par with the 200, and then it was able to establish over. But it's definitely lost this channel, so I'm going to bounce this channel out. It's useless at the moment. And do we have some additional supply and demand zones here at least? Like right around here, right about where it bottomed out, actually lines up with this previous topping out. So that could be something, but it's not doing great at the moment. It needs a big green movement. All right. On the back to the options, yeah, AMD is very overextended as well. Rocket, what's Rocket doing? Okay, so Rocket coming off, let's see, that 200 MA is racing in. Do they have, why is this down so much? Deadline alert. Okay. Okay. This isn't that exciting to me at the moment. Let me see what the 5-day at least looks like. Okay, so a huge fall this morning. I'm not sure why though. Deadline alert for what? Oh, one of these law firms. Great. Okay. Whatever. I don't know if there was, sometimes those things accompany or precede short seller reports, so I don't know what's going on with the Rocket on the short side of things. Let's see. Okay. Somewhat heavily shorted, but options alerts, class action. Okay. I mean, this to me is okay. A bunch of these coming in. All right. Well, yeah. There could be more pain coming in that. I'm going to stay away from it, to be honest. Which could be the wrong move, but that to me just sort of screams potential for short seller report coming out or something more there than is currently being shown. Sorry. All right, let's see what's going on with our potential day trade. All right, starting to hold a little bit off of that 306 supply zone or demand zone, sorry, and establishing over the 20 again. Now, what's this MACD doing is my question. Also, we're kind of topping out here on the RSI, which again, I don't super love, but let's see what happens. So let's, I don't know, the swaggy list isn't really speaking to me at the moment. There's nothing else there. Maybe Clove, but I don't know about Clove. I'd maybe rather do options or shares than options, but let's see. Okay. All right. I mean, it's making a kind of a nice run up here. What do we have on the 30-minute? Okay, so it's pretty range bound within this 30-minute chart, meaning it's holding between this 8 and 861. Now the question is, we're generally on the lower-ish half of that. We could be getting a bullish crossover here. We could be testing the midline here with a couple of recent higher highs and higher lows on the RSI. But what's going to happen? These are also 30-minute candles, so it's going to take forever to play out, and I'm not going to keep it rolling for that. So let's see back here. All right, I got nothing. All right, so the other thing that I'll look at for the options, because we're in earnings right now, look for earnings that are a few days out. Now, Palantir is one that's interesting to me just because I've looked at Palantir a lot and I feel like I have a general solid idea of the ticker and of the chart. And I also like when they don't have anything estimated. Those sometimes, nothing is 100%, but sometimes those tend to have a better run up pre-earnings because folks start to try to factor something in and sort of get ahead of the curve. Now, because we know Palantir has been beaten down so much, if we go to like the 3-month here, so it's been beaten down. I mean, this was just from 27 down to 20 relatively recently, and now it's trying to recover a little bit off of that. But I mean, even before that, if we zoom out the year to date, take a look from like February on, I mean, that was that run up into the 40s, which, yes, like is crazy, but it's come down quite a bit since then. So in other words, it hasn't, in my opinion, likely priced in any sort of like great earnings yet. Now, we are seeing a bit of a run up today after a run up yesterday, but then a teardown in the early market hours today. The only thing, I mean, the couple of things that I don't super love about taking the position with Palantir are there's so many potential resistance zones pretty quickly. This red box, which is also includes this white down trend line, which I put in last night's video with Palantir, which if we just extend it out, you know, this would keep the price suppressed for several days. That said, there is also this news article, you know, talking about how Palantir has reacted to previous earnings, and I do think that they are generally like a good earnings ticker. So those things are kind of swaying me. Let's even see what the options look like. So we don't want August, we would want something like August 20th. The earnings are on the 12th. Yeah. So I don't even want, well, I could maybe take the 13th if I'm just going to play the run up, meaning I'm going to sell this on the 11th at the latest. So here I could get something like this, like the 23. Would take about half of my account and wouldn't be that bad. Be it about $1 or less in my break even. I don't know. That's not pulling over at the moment. But oh, come on, Webull. My goodness. All right, 2202. Okay, so like $1.50 up. All right, what are our indicators? I feel like I'm kind of talking myself into this, but let's see what our indicators are saying here. So if I'm going to hold this for at the most, say a week, maybe look at the 4-hour here. All right, so we're pretty flat. So we're midline on the RSI. A nice potential hammer here on this candlestick. And MACD pretty chilled out. Okay. If I clipped it earlier and I looked at the 30-minute, because I were to trade it earlier maybe, we do see the bearish momentum dying down for the first time today. We're in the midday. Okay. It's not bad. What's the volume doing? Okay. So some buy volume. Definitely more sell. But the big question is, will we run to earnings? Let's check here as I mull this over. Oh, what are we doing? What are we doing? We're getting over the 200? This could be worth... Okay, so bullish crossover in the MACD. RSI still struggling with that midline. I feel like I would jump in here if we could get that RSI to jump up over the midline, but it's still getting a lot of pushback there. Ooh, it's just volatile. It's big ups, big downs. I like it. All right, so of those options, I like Palantir the best at the moment. Let's see, we could definitely go several days earlier. Oh boy, workhorse. Expected revenue growth, 6,867. Okay. Not going to touch that. Nothing else here that I really know. There might be some good options here, but I don't want to try to sort of speculate on a run up on earnings that's already obviously speculating in some volatile waters and not really know the ticker either. That's just a sort of an equation for madness. Oh look, XELA. Expected revenue growth minus 100%. Oh, that's great. Okay. Who else do we have here on the 11th? Wix. This is okay. I mean, of these, it really feels like Palantir is the move. Yeah. Right. It's struggling with the 20 at the moment. Oh, this is on the 1 minute, though. I don't really care about that. Let's go on the 30. Okay, it's sort of consolidating these. Just trying to look and see what's happened before when we've consolidated these MAs. Here's a consolidation on the MAs. Big push down. Okay. We've already had our big push down. I mean, it feels like, this RSI would just move. My goodness. And then XELA over here. Okay. 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 What are we doing? What are we doing? I'm going to queue this up just in case. So I think I'd want to go, yeah, just something like 10. Take about $30. Okay. Are we establishing over the 20 here? We're going to get across? What's this RSI doing off the midline? We're going to keep bumping off the 50, off that yellow, 50 MA. It's also right in line. I mean, it's right in line with this supply and demand zone too, which if it can establish over it would be really great support. But this peel back that we've had since that run up this morning. Okay. How's this establishment looking? All right, we might go on this. MACD's looking good. RSI's looking good. MA's lining up. All right, we're going to go. Okay. All right, so we got that. So we'll see what happens. Now Palantir. Maybe we can finish this video sometime soon. I mean, if I don't take an options play right now, then that's fine too. We're looking at the 30-minute here. Yeah, we're kind of getting jostled around a little bit here in a way that I don't love. And I don't feel like I have a great second option. What's on Friday the 13th? Yikes. Nothing really. And then these get a little bit far out for what I'd be looking to accomplish with this shorter term options trade. Doggone it. What's this Friday? DraftKings. Okay. They have big expectations. I mean, the big expectations on something like DraftKings might run it up because they also had that short seller report that beat them down quite a bit. I wonder how high the IV is on that already, though. Let's see. Okay, so they're getting pushed down at the moment, but let's take a look at the daily here. So yeah, they got beat down pretty bad. They got about cut in half almost. And then they've basically been consolidating around there. No great indication on the daily. I mean, this one is more like an hour or 30-minute time frame because I would only hold this for 2 days max. Here on the hour, the question is, are we going to push off of this 200 potentially? On the 30, still in bearish formation there, but could we be getting a bullish crossover is the question. On the 30 here, it's obviously struggling quite a bit though. But all right, well, we might have to end this video here, but I'll be checking in with this series probably several times. I mean, maybe several times a day, but at least once a day, I would say. And let's just take a look here at DraftKings while we're here. See what's going on. Okay, so analysts are in love. Not too bad on the shorts. And, okay. Those look good. Any talk here? Donkey Kong? No. Okay, so this is, well, let's even look at the options. We didn't even look at them yet. Let's see how crazy the IV is. So if I want something like 50. Nah, I can't afford that. 52, like a 10% jump to break even. 10% is not that bad. Just have a couple of days to run up though. What is this? I love that it has me buying 10. Okay. No. Okay. Yeah. I mean, the question is just, is the IV already very, very high? Where do they have it here? Open interest is obviously high enough. Where the? Oh, there's the IV. 62. All right. Something like Palantir is a bit less. Okay. So I would have more ability to punch up because it would be oh, this is happening. Maybe. Could be getting a bullish crossover here in the 30. Testing the mid-range on the RSI. And I kind of think if we run at this red box again, now obviously it could get stuck under this trend line, which that would be the worst outcome. But if we get into this red box again, it might have consumed all of the selling pressure from these last 3 entries. I mean, this would be now 3 days in a row plus pre-market if you want to count that. And so maybe it's eaten up a bunch of the sell power there. And we're accumulating right along the MAs. All right, I'm going to go for it here. I'm going to go for a, nope, not August 6th. I'm going to go August 13th, right? Is that right? I know you're all screaming, get done with this video, it's right. Okay, August 12th, so August 13th, because we don't care. We're not going to hold it through anyway. And we could go here with 23, which is not bad at all. What are you doing? Oh boy, I'm not going to sell, I'm going to buy. I'm going to get 1. And just give me the market. Buy. Single option Palantir day. Yes. Okay. Place order. Bada boom. Oh, okay. Limit. Okay. Do we get it? Oh. Oh, really? Oh, this is sad. So sad. Okay. Well, there goes that whole idea that's how that I would have options in this. in this game. So I guess we're going to be doing shares only. Oh, surprise, surprise. All right. Well, I don't know what else we're going to be getting shares on. So I'm going to clip this here, reevaluate, and then come back. It's unfortunate. Seems like they shouldn't let you buy just call options. I mean, the worst that's going to happen is going to go to 0. They're worried about my $100 deposit failing, I guess. I don't know. Whatever. All right. Well, I will do an update on this when the time is right. I might go to another broker then and buy some Palantir options. But all right. Well, I hope that this ends up to be an interesting series. I know this one was very, very long. Hopefully you watched it on 2x, but hopefully it gave you some idea of how I go and try to search for some trading opportunities, be it shares or options or day or swing trades. All right, let's see what we can do with this $100 and have a good trading day. I'll talk to you later.